Do you have the right valuable skills for SHTF? So I have talked a lot over the years about skills, and I think skills are so important in an SHTF situation. Skills are important no matter what in life. It's those things that we can do that not everybody else can do. And there are a lot of things that we can pick up, pretty basic skills that aren't really all that difficult, but they can be so useful in an SHTF situation or a long-term situation. And even in this economy, having a little side gig of a skill that you have can definitely help out so you can stay afloat, because we all know this economy is atrocious. So today I thought I would share 10 skills that I think would be so valuable during an SHTF situation, whether you could get paid for them or barter your skills for something that you need. These skills can definitely help you, all of them. And not all of these skills are going to be for everybody, but there may be one that you are that's easier for you to pick up, and I would definitely go with that. We want to make sure we've got some kind of skill so we have, we can do extra stuff during SHTF situations. You may be short on something that you don't realize now, and you could possibly trade for that. And, whatever it is that you need, or if you are going to take new people into your group, you're going to want them to be skillful as well. So the first thing on my list I think is super important and can be extremely helpful, especially during a disaster, is herbalism. Herbalism is definitely a harder one to learn, but it can be life-saving, because if you can't get the medications you need, you can make them. And most medicines are all derived from plants and herbs in the beginning anyway, and they just turn them into chemicals because it's cheaper and easier. You know how these big pharma is and all these crazy companies. But learning that herbalism can be super helpful. You can save your life, your family's life, friends, neighbors. You can even trade that skill. If you and let's say you have 10 people in your group and 3 of you are learning herbalism, that is a wonderful thing. Have one focus on each person focus on a different area. You can, if you just focus on salves and skin issues and things like that, but someone else in your group may focus on lungs or something along that line, another one wound care. Those are things that are going to be so helpful. Knowing, it's so hard to learn herbalism and it can take such a long time. I think it's important to focus in one area and really work on that area just to get going, and then expand to one more area as you go, because there's so much to learn. It really can take a long time. Number 2 on my list is gardening and preserving food. You would be surprised how many people couldn't grow a tomato if you gave it to them all grown. They just don't know. So it's important to learn how to grow things and grow things that grow good in your area. Some years we do better than others, but there are always those things that do a little bit better in your area than they do in other places, or it may be a snap for you to grow it. Back during the Depression, some people just lived off turnips because that's all they could grow. So that was their main source of food. Of course, with hunting and fishing added into that, it was helpful, but turnips might have been the only thing they could grow. And if you can only grow carrots, but your neighbor grows tomatoes, you can always barter and trade, which is wonderful. I know I like to sneak around if the zucchinis and squash are doing good, and I stuff them in people's mailboxes, in their car. You got to share that stuff around. And number 3 on my list is soap making or candle making. Super easy and simple to do. It's fairly easy to learn. Soap making it seems very intimidating because of lye, but honestly, if you've got that lye water solution, you can make soap with any fat. So soap making is definitely one of those things that I highly recommend to people. Everyone is going to need to be clean. emergency or not. It's a great side gig, a great way to make extra money. And in an SHTF situation, you could definitely trade some soap for quite a few things, I think, and candles as well. Again, super easy to learn how to do. You can make candles out of oil, wax, whatever kind of flammable stuff that you have. There are lots of different candles that you could do. So having that ability to do that can be extremely helpful. And number 4 on my list is sewing. Sewing is huge because you're going to need clothes. Making your own clothes can save you a ton of money depending on what kind of fabrics you use. But if you're just using scrap fabrics in an SHTF situation, a lot of people cannot wield a needle. There's no way they could sew their own clothes. They don't have the first idea how to go about it. And even if you're not a master seamstress, you can still make quite a bit of money and have that valuable skill in an SHTF situation, whether you are making household products that people use, clothing, anything like that. Repairing stuff is another great skill with sewing. And number 5 on my list, crochet and knitting. That is absolutely huge. It's really simple to learn. There are millions of videos on YouTube if you want to learn how to crochet or knit. It is really simple to do, and you can make beautiful afghans, you can make sweaters, mittens, hats, scarves. There's so many things that you can make with knitting and crocheting, and it really is a great skill to have, especially if you live in a colder climate. People are going to need those warm, toasty items for winter and the colder months. And also if you are into spinning fibers and making your own yarn. I sold a ton of yarn. I used to spin all the time. I absolutely love it and enjoy it, and still do when I get a chance. But those people, a lot of crocheters and knitters out there, have no idea how to make yarn. And again, it's not a difficult thing to learn. The equipment can be a little costly, but if you look around, I even had someone give me a spinning wheel, which was lovely. I just had to replace the belt. And number 6 on my list is mechanics. Learning how to fix things, knowing how to fix a car, how to fix a bicycle, how to fix all different kinds of things, anything like that. If you're mechanically inclined, that is a great way to go. You can definitely make lots of extra money repairing things and doing different kinds of mechanical things. And also in an SHTF situation, if your car breaks down, you could be able to fix it. Or, you know, any kind of machinery that you use, your tractor or snowblower, whatever it is. You can even teach people how to fix things. You could do it that way, or you could fix it for them and trade that skill for whatever you need. Number 7 on my list is carpentry, masonry, electrician. Those skills are always going to be needed. We are always going to have someone fix things for us if we're not able to do it ourselves. And so many people out there cannot fix it themselves. If they got a broken window, they can't fix it. A broken screen, a lot of people cannot even fix that. Simple things, it doesn't have to be difficult. How to repair a table leg, fix an electrical box so the house doesn't burn down, things like that. And number 8 on my list is a livestock breeder. If you have got animals, chickens, rabbits, goats, sheep, breeding them can be a great skill. Knowing how to help them through birth if they need any help, helping with knowing all these things about being a livestock breeder. It can be a very simple thing if you already have animals at home. It can be a great way to make extra money, unfortunately. So if you have chickens and that's something you can do, people will pay really good money. I think chicks are running $4 or $5 a chick now, and that is a 3-day-old chick. The older they get, the more they're worth. I have seen hens that are laying up to $35, $40 per hen, which is really a lot of money. In my opinion, I think it's worth growing them up, but it does cost to grow them up with your grain and all your labor and stuff like that. So livestock breeder can definitely be a good one in an emergency situation or a long-term collapse, something like that, it can definitely be a lifesaver for you and many other people. And livestock can always be traded for other things you need or sold. Number 9 on my list is butchering. I know a lot of people don't like this one, but butchering an animal is definitely a good skill to have. I think it's important. Lots of people will need meat in an emergency, a long-term emergency especially, and knowing how to do that yourself can be, you may not be able to get to a butcher, you may not be able to afford a butcher. Being able to do it for you and your family and a skill to trade can be a lifesaver. And number 10 on my list is gunsmithing. In a long-term situation, people are going to need to have their guns repaired. And that is just something that everybody is going to need. Guns are wonderful, but they break down. Things happen. They need to be cleaned. They need to be repaired. They may need parts replaced. And if you have that skill, it can be extremely valuable for everyone, honestly. And that's not something that everybody is definitely going to do, but I think it's a great skill to have, knowing how to break guns down, clean them, repair them, figure out what the problem is, knowing the different parts. Guns are pretty basic, but knowing all the different parts and which piece might be the problem can definitely be a huge skill to have. And that is it for my 10 skills that I think everyone should have for emergency situations and SHTF. We really need to make sure we've got skills that are going to make us valuable to help us, because no matter how much you stock up, we only have so much space, and we're going to need things in a long-term situation. And if we've got a skill to barter, it is going to help us immensely. So even if it's as simple as making candles or crocheting or something like that, a little bit of sewing, even those little things can be extremely valuable when someone doesn't know how to do it at all. We could help them and they could help us. And that's a wonderful thing when we can all help each other and get the things that we need. And having those skills can definitely do that for you. If you have other skills that you think are a must and can be extremely useful in a long-term disaster, put them in the comments down below. Let's help each other get more prepared and be ready for the craziness that's coming our way. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!